Well, hey there, math educator. I know you know that AI is everywhere, but is it actually useful in math class or is it just another tech buzzword? Well, hey, I'm Kristen Moore, your host here on the Modern Math Teacher Podcast. And today we're diving in to all things AI in math education, talking about what's hype versus what actually helps. Listen, guys, when ChatGPT first hit the scene, I completely wrote it off as basically like the mathway equivalent headache for English teachers, right? Even as a super tech forward teacher, I was initially really dismissive. Okay. So trust me, if you're feeling that way, I get it. Okay. I was there and I was you. It wasn't until I kept hearing about the interesting things that chat and AI could do it was helping my colleagues with that I decided to take the plunge and try it out for myself. And man, you guys, was I blown away with what I could do and what I could accomplish with it. It is my brand new like teacher bestie, my teacher assistant, my superhero for so many things, okay? So, why does this matter for you? Well, listen, like it or not, and ready or not, AI is transforming education. And I know teachers like practical, time saving ways to use it, not just more tools to figure out. Okay. You know, I'm always going to keep it real with you, and I'm always all about working smarter and not harder. So that's what we're up to today. We're going to figure out what's hype versus what actually helps when it comes to AI in math ed. So, let's dive in and get real for a minute. Why AI in math education? Okay, so AI is already here. Students use it, ChatGPT, PhotoMath. So teachers really need to understand how to leverage it productively, okay? There are new tech tools arriving on the scene all of the time, and I want to make sure that you don't feel overwhelmed. But I want you to be supported by the AI tools that we use inside and outside of our classroom. These tools can become your new teacher assistant. I promise you, there are so many incredible ways we can use them if we know which ones to focus on. Okay. And before we go further, I want to address the elephant in the room. AI in education is not going to replace teachers. It can't. Okay. It can, however, free up your time for higher level, better instruction, differentiation, and feedback. That's going to make you a more effective teacher. Sure. Can it have a tutor that is then going to give them some feedback on the problem that they're doing and help them get it right? Absolutely. Those are some of the lower lift tasks that AI can take off your plate so that you can be the expert you are meant to be. Okay. So, my hope for you today is that you understand that. AI should support your learning, not replace thinking. Okay. It's going to support learning in your classroom. It's not going to replace thinking for you or your students. And remember that you are the expert in the room. You are the expert of your students. You are the expert of your content. You are the expert of your pedagogy. AI is just a tool to help you bring your expertise out without burning you out. So, with that said, let's talk. What's hype versus what actually helps? And let's do the hype first. What are some things that AI cannot do well? All right. AI is great for a bajillion and a half things. Here are some things it cannot do well for us. Okay. It can't really truly understand the math concepts. Okay. It can generate answers, it can give a description, but it doesn't build reasoning skills. So, whether you're using AI or your students are using AI in a problem, it is not going to help them build those reasoning skills. It might give them an answer, it might check an answer, it might give you an answer. Heck, you know, right? And it can give you an explanation, but it really can't help connect the concepts. So when you're thinking about building procedural proficiency through conceptual understanding, it's not going to help you there. Okay. It can also not automatically create perfect lessons. Oh man, do you guys remember writing like 6-page lesson plans back in our TE classes? I sure do. And I wish AI could just perfectly spit one out for you, but it can't. Okay. AI content needs vetting. There is so much that needs to be considered when using AI to create your lessons. In fact, I am devoting an entire episode of this topic in an upcoming episode, okay? But if you are excited to get started, it can do a pretty good job, okay? Make sure if you want to get started with this, you want to try out some lesson plans, that you download the AI Tools for Math Teachers Ultimate Cheat Sheet and Guide to get access to my craft framework for lesson design. This is the only framework that I use. It's the one that I teach in my PD session. So make sure that you pick that up. It's going to be linked here in the show notes. So if you are excited and you want a better chance at getting a better lesson, not perfect, but better, go ahead and grab that resource, the AI Tools for Math Teachers Ultimate Guide Cheat Sheet and Guide. I don't know, I just said guide twice. You know what I mean. Anyways, linked in the show notes. Okay. Another thing AI cannot do, it cannot replace student effort. So, your students still need to engage in problem solving. And as long as you provide them with opportunities to do that. Okay. So I want to make sure that you are not just giving them skill and drill just because that is something easily spit out by AI. Okay. Your effort needs to match the student's effort, or your student effort needs to match your effort, right? So, there are tools like Mathway and PhotoMath that can 100% show an answer to a student, right? We just talked about that. But it can't help them reason or problem solve their way through thinking tasks, through problem based explorations, right? Or a project based learning experience. So you need to make sure that you're still providing your students with those ample opportunities to demonstrate those critical thinking skills, because AI can absolutely solve a problem for them. It can't reason for them, it can't think for them, but it can solve a problem. So we've got to be careful with that. So again, three things that are complete hype. AI can't do. They can't just automatically replace. They can't really understand math concepts. It can't make the connections for you. Can't help you, or it can help you, but it can't help the students make the connections for themselves. It's not automatically going to create perfect lessons. I wish it would. It doesn't create perfect problems. You've still got to vet those too, right? It's great, but you've always got to check it, and it can't replace your student effort. Now, there are some things that AI can help with, okay? And these are going to be some teacher friendly uses for you. Again, as with everything in AI, what you put in is what you're going to get out. So, AI can help generate math problems. AI can quickly create practice problems, whether they are the rote procedural problems you need, or thin slice sequences, or word problems. AI, if you give it a good prompt, can generate really good examples for that, okay? A simple example would be, give me 5 real world problems on slope and linear equations. Now, you're going to get 5 decent problems to use with your students, but from there, it's up to you. I personally would give it a little bit more context, and I teach that in the craft framework. Give it a context, give it a role, talk about what takeaways you want. You want to make sure that this is actually going to mesh with your students, but it 100% can help you generate math problems. Okay. It can also help you support differentiation by explaining concepts in multiple ways. Okay. AI can help you take some of those same problems and produce them at different difficulty levels. So if you know you've got problems in your textbook or problems in your curriculum that you need all of your students to be able to do, you can plug those into AI and ask it to help you differentiate, ask you to help scaffold it. Okay. You can ask AI to rephrase math explanations to meet your students where they are at. Maybe you explain a topic one way and you type it into AI and say, I need help breaking this down for a more visual student. I need help with changing the wording on this so that my students who are in a different grade level can access that. Okay. So are your students struggling to understand a concept? You can think a visual may help. Anything you want to ask it to do, it can help you do. Again, you are the expert. You are asking it for specific outputs, right? And the better you are at that, the better it's going to give you a good response. For example, if you are a high school geometry teacher, I may ask AI to explain the Pythagorean theorem in a way that a sixth grader with a visual learning style may better understand it. Okay. And that again is just going to help me meet the diverse needs of the students in my room. So if I know I've got a class that I need to help with, I can put something in there. Now, it can also help you tweak your lessons in real time. And this is straight up story from my classroom time. The other day, I was teaching logarithmic equations and expressions to my students. We are learning all about how to go from exponential form to logarithmic form to exponential form. And if I'm saying those things and I lost you, I'm sorry. You probably learned it at one point and you may have forgotten it, and that's okay. Don't tell my students I said that, but that's totally okay. Okay. So again, I was teaching this to my students. We're discovering that logs are exponents and learning about how to write and rewrite them as these exponents. So we're uncovering the properties of exponents and how these connect to the property of logarithms because logs are exponents. Yes? Oh my gosh, you guys, this lesson was not at all landing. And I teach this class 4 hours in a row. So I needed it to work. Okay. So what did I do? I uploaded a PDF of my lesson material into ChatGPT. And then I told it what I was struggling with. I was struggling with student disconnect and asked its advice on tweaks to make. Now, I've used ChatGPT a lot for my classroom, so it knows me. The more you work with it, the more it knows you and your students and whatever information you put in there. Okay. So I'm over here typing this into my chat GPT. I just moved away from there. Typing this into my chat GPT on one side while I'm also working with my students on the other. Okay. All of this was while my students were at their desk working through the next problem that we were focused on. Then I took that tweak, tried it out on the next problem, and noted what worked and what didn't. And I just did that process over and over again until we finally had the best lesson. Promise you, by the time I got to my last 2 hours of the day, we were rocking that lesson. So definitely went back, retaught a couple of things to my first two classes. But my last two classes totally rocked their mastery check right out of the gate. And again, it's all because I was able to tweak my lesson in real time using AI as a sounding board, as somebody or something to help give me some ideas. Now, again, I want to make sure that you know it is important to share that what you put into the programs is exactly what you're going to get out from them. So, garbage in, garbage out. Okay. Learning the proper way to prompt and work with AI as your planning partner is going to be essential to getting the best results. And so, again, if you are ready to dive in right now and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love AI to help me. I know I've got this upcoming lesson. I need it differentiated. Go download the AI Tools for Math Teachers Ultimate Cheat Sheet and Guide to get examples of prompts and uses along with my top recommended AI tools. Because listen, there are so many of them out there and you do not need them all. Don't explore them all. It's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. Okay. I picked the top 5 that I highly recommend, and I've got 25 total in case you don't like my top 5. I've got them broken down into different examples for you. So go get the guide so you can work on that. All right. Whew. Guys, I'm really liking AI right now. Okay. But this is getting long. I know we like to keep them between like 10 and 15 minutes. So now we know what's hype versus what works. Okay. Again, hype, things it's not going to do for you. It's not going to be able to truly understand the math concept. It's not going to be able to automatically create the perfect lesson. And it's not going to be able to replace student thinking and effort. Okay. Things it can help you do generate math problems. Whatever kind you need, it can help. It can help support differentiation, 100%. And it can help you tweak your lesson in real time. Guys, that's the best part. So love that. Okay. So those are our things. What I want you to do is I want you to take action on this learning, action on this mini PD podcast episode today. So try this tomorrow. Go. Use whatever AI tool is your favorite to generate 3 practice problems on a current topic. Maybe even ask it to make it mild, medium, spicy. Ooh, yes. Okay, that's it. That's what I want you to do. 3 practice problems and then tell it to make them mild, medium, and spicy and see if it knows what that means. Okay. Then experiment this week. Have AI rewrite a concept explanation in 3 different ways for 3 different learners. Take your notes. Take your notes as a PDF, drop it in, say, hey, re-explain this 3 different ways for 3 different learners. That way it gives you talking points when you're going over your notes with your class. Okay. In a long-term strategy, I want you to identify one tool to test for planning efficiency. I've got my top 5 recommended tools in the guide, so you'll have to go download that and see what I think. And remember, if you guys actually want to take a deeper dive, I have an upcoming training for math teachers specifically focused on AI. It's a project I've been working on behind the scenes, and I'm super excited to share with you guys real soon. So I'll be sure to link info for that training and the AI guide in the show notes. So you can get my help right now with the AI guide, and you can plan for later with the upcoming PD. That you should totally just have your district pay for. Okay. All right, guys. So key things to remember. AI will not replace teachers, but teachers who use AI effectively can reclaim their time and support student learning in new ways. You can be a better teacher without being burnt out. Okay. It's going to empower you to become the best teacher you can be. So until next time, you guys, I want you to keep experimenting. I want you to keep making math as real as possible for your students. And as always, I want you to keep it real. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.